I've been putting this off, but I've been wanting to do this. I have here some Skittles that I have previously freeze-dried. And I want to see what they come out like coated in chocolate using my chocolate coating machine there. Attachment to my KitchenAid. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to melt my chocolate according to the Ghirardelli bag. It tells you on here how to do that. We'll just follow those instructions and get this all melted up, and I'll be right back. Okay, my chocolate is just about melted, but it's a little bit thick, and I think I'm going to try something different this time and add about a teaspoon of vegetable lard, just to thin that out just a little bit. I just got some little Crisco there. I'll put a teaspoon in there. Just to thin it out just a little bit. Get that melted and incorporated. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're ready. So I got 2 cups of Skittles, freeze-dried. Let's get this closer so I don't make as much mess as possible. Turn this on the stir. And here we go. I'm going to drizzle some chocolate on there. Let them spin away. So we'll let that spin until that coating is almost dry, and then we'll put another coat on. You can tell when it's starting to get dry because it starts sticking to the sides of the dish. So we'll just take our spatula and knock those loose. And now I'm just checking to make sure there ain't no big lumps. And you pretty much know it's about ready for the next coat when you stick your hands in there and they look dry. Plus you can see they're tumbling properly, not sticking to the side. So the chocolate has set pretty much. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit more on there. You see it's starting to ball up, which is cool. Then it'll start sticking to the side. When it starts sticking to the side, we'll take our spatula and knock them off. And when they start tumbling freely again, we'll go in there and we'll make sure they're dry and separate. And we'll put another coat on. Just keep repeating it. Really not a lot to it. Okay, I'm coming up to the, that was number 9. Don't know if you noticed, I put quite a bit of chocolate on there because I'm wanting to get them covered as much as possible. And I'm just going to sit here and work with that. By putting a lot in there that time, it did coat a lot of the ones that weren't getting anything on it. So I'll just work with this until they start flowing freely again. See if that makes a difference. I'll probably have to do a lot more breaking apart once they start flowing. But it certainly put a good coating on it. Alright, it's starting to flow a little bit. Now obviously, since I put a much thicker coat on that, I need to let it run quite a bit longer, but as you can see, they're starting to roll again. So I think the next coat I put on is going to be the same. And we might call that good, because that would be 10 coats. That is 9 coats. So some of them are stick together. That one. Not too many. Alright, number 10. We'll do another generous one. Obviously we'll have to work with these now. So they start rolling again. As you see, you can work that heavy load of chocolate out on that, and it'll start rolling again eventually. Good thing about it is that way it don't take as long to do it. A little more tedious. These are still very wet, so they're still sticking a little bit. So that was 10 coats, 2 being which were really thick. There's some that aren't quite covered, and I got plenty of chocolate. So I think what I'm going to do is let this run for another few minutes, let this dry, and then I'll put one more really thick coat on there, and then we'll just have to call it good. I'd like to get it to where we don't see as much of that color as possible. I mean, I'm not worried if a little bit shows through, but it'd be nice to get as much of it covered as possible. So we'll let that run for a few minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, last one. This is number 11. There's a nice thick one on there. At some stage you gotta call it enough. Alright. Okay, they're starting to roll pretty well, so let's get my chocolate taken care of. What I'm going to use, let's see if I can get this where you can see it, is these molds that I have. We're just going to put the chocolate in there. And once it's set, we can take it out and reuse it. Put her in a Ziploc bag, store it in a cool, dry place until the next time. Chocolate's expensive, and no sense in wasting it. So we'll let that spin while I get this all cleaned up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, we got that all cleaned up. Let's turn this off. Take that off. go. There's my Smarties, not Smarties, my Skittles, chocolate coated. I'm just going through them to make sure there's no big lumps, which there's not. They separated very nicely. So we are going to let those sit for several hours, if not overnight. Then we'll polish them. So what do you think of that? There's a few that didn't get totally coated, and we could have played around with it some more and put more chocolate on it, but quite frankly, I think there's enough chocolate on there. We don't want to take away the flavor of the Skittle in the middle. One stuck together, that's alright. Alright, so I'll get this bowl cleaned out. We'll let those sit for several hours, if not overnight. Then we'll come back and polish them. I'll see you then. Okay, it's been 24 hours, and I want to apologize for the first part of this video being so long, but I really wanted to show you the process so there's no surprises to you. And I cut out or sped up as much as I could and still give you a full picture of what the process involved. So let me get my gloves on, and we are ready to start coating these, or not coating them, but polishing these. They have set overnight, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in my tumbler. Now this is just an additional step that's not required, but you can see that they kind of look dull, and this is just a way to polish them up. So I got 2 tablespoons of water there, just tap water, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of gum arabic powder, food grade and gluten free. It's called a thickener, stabilizer, emulsifier, but it's also a polisher. So I got 2 tablespoons of water. Let's put 2 tablespoons of powder. That's way more than we need, but you need enough in there to mix. Let's see if I can keep this in the picture for you, because it does not like mixing up. It is water soluble, but I've tried many ways: hot water, cold water, then heating the water, and really the only way just pour it. We'll put it in the water and give it a good stir, and we just kind of scrape, pushing it against the edge here to get rid of any lumps, the major lumps that we can. Actually, that kind of mixed up pretty well today. Alright, so we're going to put that on stir, and we're just going to put a spoon of this in there. And let that start turning that all around. It'll start going in a minute. It doesn't really take a lot of this to get that polish on there. There we go. Temptation would have been there to think, well, I ain't got enough in there, but no, as you can see now, well, you can't see it too well in the picture. After spinning, they all have got well coated. Don't don't put too much in there of this stuff for sure. There we go. Now that's starting to roll. And we'll just keep that going until that coat dries, and we'll add one more coat, and we'll call that good, I think. That's what I have been doing. About 2 coats gives me a nice shine. So as that is drying, you can see that it's stuck to the back of the pot now. So I'm just going to take this and get those moving around. And we're going to keep turning this until they are not sticky anymore. And pretty much that's a critical issue on this when we're polishing. You do not want them to still be sticky when you put your next coat on. Well, I had to speed that up for you guys because it's taking quite a long time. But looking at my humidity indicator, it is 65% humidity in my kitchen today. Thunderstorms are in the forecast. It's overcast outside. And maybe that's why this is taking longer than it normally would. So that's something to bear in mind. But it is 65 degrees, and it's 74 degrees temperature-wise. It's quite full with high humidity. And I'm thinking that's got to be why this is taking so long. Stop sticking. Basically, you got to wait for that whole tablespoon or teaspoon of water to evaporate. So on my second coat, I ain't going to put that much in there. So we got to get this to where they're rolling freely before we even think about doing another coat. We're getting close. Still wanting to stick. Okay, they're finally rolling. So, I'm going to let that run for a couple minutes. And looking at that, they're putting a nice polish on that as it is. We'll see what it looks like after a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Okay. I let those tumble once they started tumbling for 5 minutes, and they have polished up really well. So I don't think that I am going to bother putting another coat on there. Let's get them in the bowl here and see what they look like. There you go. Those look gorgeous. Let me get a close-up of that. What do you think of those? Those came out beautiful. Let's see what they taste like. There's a nice orange one, or green one. That's the lime nowadays. Used to be apple. Oh yeah. Perfect crunch. About the perfect combination of chocolate to the tartness of the Skittles. These came out beautiful. Those are definitely good. That's a nice little treat to put out for your special occasion. Well, let me know what you guys think about these. Let me know if you try it out too. These came out beautiful. Let's see if I can get one up front real close for you. Check that out. A Skittle coated in chocolate. There you have it. Another great success from John and Bibbs. Freeze-dried Skittles coated in chocolate. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.